So it was like, well, let's just, so I was at like the bar, and you're like, well, not really, because, well, well, technically, let's just say I was at the bar, you know, and I went to the bar, and I was like, I hit my head on, like, like when you, like when the, you know, and like when you, like when the bar, you hit onto the bar, and it's like, oh, owie, you know, and it's like, oh, oopsie, I accidentally hit into like the bar and stuff, and I was like, what? What's up with that? You know, I was like, whoa, I don't want to hit into any bars anymore because that bar really hurts my head. Well, yeah, I didn't, well, I didn't really say that I hit my head on a bar, but like, you know, I did, and it's like, yeah, because I only like specified that I hit a bar, not like the body part, but like I hit my head onto a bar. I was like, I don't want to hit my head on a bar ever again. You know, after that, I was like, okay, no, thank you. You know, that's like what I was like when I hit that bar with my head, and I was like, okay. So I went to, you know, I went inside the bar, like the building. Like the building with the drinks in it, and like I went inside of that bar, and I was like, I hit like there's a bar inside of the, like there's a bar inside of the bar, like the little, like the metal thing, like the metal thing that you hit on your, well, your head goes onto when it's like when it's in the air, because it's in like the ceiling to hold up the ceiling, you know. So like my head hit that bar like really hard, and that was like an issue because that kind of hurt my head. And well, like if it was like on the ground, I think I might have like tripped or something, but like I didn't, because it wasn't on the ground, it was on the ceiling, I think, to like hold it up, you know? Like the bar was on the ceiling. So like I went into the bar, and I was like, I'm gonna walk around a little bit, you know, like what you do inside of those things. And I was like, okay, I hope I don't, well, it'd be, okay. Let me just like rephrase it real quick. So like, so technically, I went inside the bar, right? And like, I walked into it, and I was like, okay, this would be really funny if I hit into a bar inside of the bar, you know, like, whoa, you know, like what's with that? That'd be like, so funny. That'd be like, that'd make me laugh my ass off. Oops, sorry, no swearing. But I'd be like, wow, that'd be, well, let's just say, after I was like thinking that in my brain, I was like, okay. If I hit inside of, if I hit a bar, I'd be like, whoa, you know, that'd be like me, if I hit into a bar. So when I did, I was like, okay, that wasn't really that funny, but also it was so freaking funny. I was like, oh my gosh, I hit into a bar in a bar. But like, it also hurt. So like, when I went to that bar, I was like, okay. Well, when I went out of the bar, I was like, okay, my head hurts, but I had I had a freaking funny time. You know, I was like, well, you know, like, how's that even happen? Like, you know, like you go inside a bar, there's a bar on the freaking roof to hold it up. Like, okay, you could have used wood, but you know, but like, then that'd be like, would that still be called a bar? I don't know, you know, but like, it's like, because look, the word bar for like a place where you get the drink, like the drinks, it's like the same name as like a bar of like steel, you know. I don't think it was actually it probably was steel, you know, like, yeah, that was probably steel bar on that roof. Well, it wasn't on the roof, it was holding up the roof. You know? It was like that's what it was doing. The roof was like it was like making sure it wouldn't like fall down on our heads. That hurt a lot more than like hitting into a bar, you know. If like you hit into a bar, well, compared to being freaking like destroyed by roof fragments, you know, that's a big difference, you know. I would not want to be honestly, I'm thankful that I got hit into a bar instead of that bar not being there and the freaking roof collapsed on my little noggin. That'd be horrible. I'd be like, no, I don't want that. I don't want that on my head. I do not want that. Do not give me the bar on my head, please. Oh, wait, no, not the bar. Do not give me the roof on my head, you know. I'd be like, whoa, no thank you, you know. It's technically, that's basically what I did. Hypothetically, I don't think it'll happen in my lifetime, but if it does, I'd be like, no, do not drop the roof fragments on my noggin. That'd be like what I'd be thinking at the time if that were to happen. But I don't think that'll happen because, you know, it doesn't seem very probable, you know. But like, so like, wait a second. But like, okay, like the bar, if I went into it and I was like, okay, the bar is like, it has like bars in it. You know, I was like, okay, this bar has bars in it, I better watch out for those bars. And I'm like, okay, I didn't watch out for those bars. What's wrong? What the crap? I didn't watch out for the bars. And I was like, okay, you nincompoop, you hit the bar. And I was like, okay, whatever, who cares? It's just a bar. But also, it freaking hurt, man. It freaking hurt my head. I was like, okay, will there be permanent brain damage? And I'm like, no, it wasn't like I fell, you know, it was my own force on the bar. And it was normal walking speed. It wasn't like I was running through the bar, not the bar, but like the bar, you know. So like, technically, in the science of this type of stuff, I don't think I'd be damaged, really, honestly. So, I think I'm good in that regard, in the damage of the head. I don't think I'm mentally damaged from that. Like, my mental wellness is around the same as before I hit the bar compared to, like, after I hit the bar. Like, after I hit the bar, I was like, whoa, you know, don't want to do that again, you know. I was like, no thank you, I don't want that to happen in my life. Because when I hit, like, it's not like you're supposed to hit into bars, you know, in your life, because, like, the brain isn't meant to be hit into, like, rocks and stuff. It's, like, meant to be, not hit into things, and then it kind of was, but, like, I don't think there's any real damage. Maybe, like, a little bump for a bit, like a little baby bump or something. Like, there was a bump on my head, but, like, then it went away or something, I think. I don't think it's there anymore. like that bump isn't really there because I hit into the bar and the freaking, it was like on the ceiling, and I was like, okay, I see that bar, and then I was like, a second later, I hit into the bar. I didn't even notice, I didn't even think to, like, okay, let's not hit that bar. But I guess I did, because I'm a freaking silly guy, you know? That's just who I am, I guess. That's just, the type of little fella I am, you know? I'm like, okay. Do not hit that bar, please. Do not, okay. When I was going to the bar, I was like, okay. Do not hit into any bars, you know, like the little joke that they say in the funny, little joke books, you know? They say that, it's like in the Garfield book, it's like, you walk into a bar and it's like, and you like say, ouch, you know? Well, in my world, in the real world, you know, I went inside a bar, and I hit into a bar, and I was like, when I went into the room, I was like, do not hit the bars, and I was like, okay, and then I literally, like, the next second, I hit into a bar, you know, and I was like, whoa, you know? I'm thinking, like, what a comic. I'm a comical man. I'm a comical. That's me. And I'm like, okay. Let's like record. Let's should tell this joke to my friends. And I'm like, okay, that's a good idea. I'll tell my little fellas, my little gremlin fellas, the joke that I made up in my brain. I didn't make it up in my brain. It just happened to me. That was a misspeak out of my brain mouth. Because, well, you know, in real life I hit into the bar, not in the fantasy world, you know? Because, like, I went inside of the BAR, as in the shop with the drinks in it, and I was like, okay, I hit the bar, yeah. And, well, that wasn't a good thing, because then my head hurt for a bit. But then I was like, okay, I'll tell the story, that's real, it's a real story, to my friends. I'm like, okay, it's awesome, let's go, I love this, I love life, love living life, I'm so cool, I head into a bar, this is like the best story in the effing world, oops, in the freaking world, you know, like, well, the bar, I went into it, you know, now my head was bumpy, I guess, now it isn't, because, well, thank the Lord, my head isn't bumpy anymore, you know. Imagine if I had a bumpy head forever, you know. They'd be like, no, okay, it was funny, but no dice on that one, please. I don't like that. Okay, my chips are not on that table, they're on the other one. You know why? Because I do not want a bumpy head. I do not. That is not my wish. My wish is to have a normal head that isn't bumpy, you know? Well, you know, but like, I don't think anybody's head's normal, you know, because it's all like, they're all different, you know, so like, there's no normal head shape, I don't think, so like, I think, as long as it's not bumpy, I'll be fine if it's not bumpy, you know, that's my wish. Actually, no, I don't have any wishes. If you use your wishes up, you don't have any wishes, because you used them up. So my wish is not to, well, I don't have any wishes actually, so I don't have any wishes. I don't do that stuff yet. If I ever need to wish, I'll wish. I don't need to wish that I won't hit into any bars, because I already did that, so like, it's not even worth it anyway, you know, because like, but like, I wouldn't have wished that anyway, because like, I don't mind hitting into bars too much. They're not too bad to hit into sometimes. Maybe it makes your brain faster actually, you know, because like, maybe the brain's a little bit faster if you hit into a bar, because like, maybe it's thinking more about how that bar hurt the brain, you know, like, the brain's like, oh no, you hurt me, bar, why'd you do that to me? And I was like, okay bar, I'm in this bar, and I freaking hit my head on a bar, what do I do now? Yeah. And that's the brain, like, and the brain was like thinking that, instead of like thinking about how there are bars in a bar, and it'd be weird to think about, weird to hit into a bar in a bar. So it's like thinking different and faster in that different thing because of the bar, and because of me hitting into the bar. So I think it's probably good for the brain, technically. So like, if you go into a bar, it might be a good idea to hit into a bar, because like, it'd be a funny joke to tell to your little pals in that in the world, like they don't even have to be like next to you or anything, and then you could like, hello friend, I hit into a bar in a bar, and be like, and they'd be like, what? What's with that? How did that happen? What's going on? And then you just tell the story like, oh, I hit into a bar because it was on the roof, because it wanted to keep it up. The bar wanted to keep the roof up, and I was like, what the? Whoa! That's like, well, you know, that's like their reaction to what you'd say to them in that situation when you're telling them the story, you know? Because like, normally you wouldn't have like a cool story like that, but now you do. And I think this kind of story is kind of like universal to any language that has the same word for bar and bar. I think it's probably only English, to be quite honest. So honestly, I don't think it's fair. I think it's probably only in England and English in America and that area joke. Not, you can't really tell this type of joke to like any type of people who don't live in like any type of place that speaks English, you know, because like normally those type of words are like different in like different languages, I think. So like, if that's like, I don't know, that might be incorrect honestly, but I don't know. So like, I'll just like assume, you know, that like you can't really tell that joke in any other language except for like English, you know. So like you should so like if you are English, you know, that'd be really funny if you like told that joke to your pals or your little buddies or something. They'd be like, because I told my friends about it and they were like, dude, what's going on with that? How does that even work? And then I was like, don't even ask me, you know. Like, I can't tell you how that works. I'm not a genius. I'm not a freaking bar scientist, you know, like a rocket scientist for bars, you know. Like, well, like how does that even relate to like what is even the science of bars, you know? Like, maybe the bar scientist went to the place and was like, yo, we have to place this bar here or the roof's gonna fall down, and the people are gonna be like, oh no, my little noggin is hurting if it falls on their head. And the bar technician was like, that sounds right to me, champ. And then the bar builder was like, let's put that one up. And then the bunch of civvies were like, yo, we should really hit our head into that bar and be like, I hit my head onto a friggin' bar in a bar? And I'm like, and they're like, whoa, you know, that's just basically the evolution of comedy, you know, like that's how like it works, and that's like how the world works, you know. That's like just like, you know, that's just how things go in this kind of place, this kind of like little town that we live in. Like, I was like, okay, I'm going to the bar that has drinks in it, right, and I'm like, okay, I walk in, literally, I think about, oh my gosh, are there bars in this bar? And guess what? I freaking hit into the bar, and it just works. It's so comical. It just makes me LMA. Oh no, I can't. LM. It makes me LOL. You know, it just makes me lol. And I'm laughing right now as I'm telling this little baby story. This little baby story of mine that I have to get this out of my bones, out of my little brain, my little baby brain that has this story in it, so I can get more stories, because I only can store one story at one time. So this story has to get out of here and onto a video recording, onto an audio recording. I mean, sorry, because I can't store multiple stories at once. It's not possible. This can't be. It's not a thing that it can do. So I'm putting this one onto tape, onto cassette. I think. Is this a cassette? I'm putting it on that so I can listen to this later and just have a little giggle, you know. And I could send it to my friends and be like, you know, like, check this little story out. This happened to me. #real. You know, I'd be like, #this happened to me in real life, and I'm like, okay. And they're like, no, it didn't. No, this did not happen. And then I am like, ask Jeb. Ask Jeb, my best bud, my friend Jeb. Ask that guy. He knows what he's doing. He knows me. I don't lie to Jebediah, my friend. That guy, I don't F around. I don't frick around with that guy. I don't do any gags. I just talk. I talk the real with Jebediah. Who do you think I am? I'm not a type of person who would mess around with Jebediah. Jebediah? Oopsie. I don't mess around with Jebediah. That guy really goes crazy bones if I ever really mess with that guy. So I just tell him the truth about the little story about the bar that I hit into when I went into the bar. even like saying this story like that just makes me it makes me LOL, you know. Like, I'm laughing so much at this little had this little story. It's like, okay, this just can't be the funny. But it is, and it is real, and it is awesome. And it's like, how does it work? How do things like this work? I don't know how that type of I don't even know, like, is this like I don't know, a gift from the Jabibas or something? You know, like, what's going on? I'm like, whoa, you know. When it happened, I was like, really? Like, you know, like the like O_O or something, you know that one? O_O, that face. I was like, really? You know, but really Rodney, you know, with the eyebrows. And I was like, okay, really? And like the eyebrows were up, and I was like, wow, okay. And I was like, hello? And I was like, what's going on? I was like, okay, but then I was like thinking, that's funny. And I was like, I gotta tell this to my hoodlums. And my hoodlums were like, what? And I really think that if this happens to you, when you tell this to your hoodlums, they'll be like, whoa, this can't be. But they were like, whoa, this is the weirdest, craziest little story I've ever heard in my life. And I'm like, yeah, it is. And you're welcome for giving you this story on tape, recording. For free, I think this was free. Is this free? But this is going to be copied, this story, so I can give it to my grandma, my grandparents, so I can give it to them, because they need to know about this funny little gag that happened in my life. And like, when it happened, I was like, whoa, you know, I was like, okay, that's crazy. So like, you should also like send this to your friends on the web, so that they can hear this funny little story as well. Hopefully, like, brightens up their little their day, you know, the day that they have. Hopefully it brightens that. It like gets a little bit brighter than it was before they heard my story. You know, because like this story is like crazy. Like, I don't know what type of God gave me the luck to even like tell the story and like record it on tape for all my friends and hoodlums to hear that are across the seas over in Netherlands and stuff, so they can hear my little story about how I well, don't even get me started on how I hit my head into a bar. Like, it's weird to say, because like what I hit my head into what? Like a bar or a bar? Like, but like, you could also assume that yeah, you could like assume either one of those instead of, you know. So like, you could be like, I hit my head into a bar, like the shop that sells drinks, and I went into a bar, like a steel bar. Like, what? But like, no, it was the other way around. It wasn't like that way at all. I didn't do that. I didn't go inside a steel bar, because I don't think there's any steel bars that can like, they're like as big as a human being that's that has feet and legs. I don't think there's any of those types of things in the world out there, because I don't really believe in that type of stuff, I don't think. But I do believe in bars, inside of bars, because the roof people are like, this needs to be here, or we're shutting you down, you know, or your building might fall. And people would be like, oh no, my noggin, you know, my noggin hurts. And I don't think anybody wants their noggin to hurt, or anybody else's noggin to hurt. I think it's like a mutual thing for everybody, that they don't want other people's noggins to hurt. I don't think I'd even wish for my worst enemy to have a hurt noggin, because then they'd be like, owie, you know, and I'd be like, I don't want that to happen. That's kind of, it's not very nice, you know. It's like, I wouldn't make anybody have a hurt noggin. I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't want to watch someone have that. reverse any type of hurt noggin in like the world, but I can't really do that. And I'm not using up my wish. I'm not using up my wish, so that's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. Sorry to all the people who have hurt noggins, but like you could use your wish to get rid of your hurt noggin. Even if I'm so adamant against hurt noggins, I can't use my wish on that. I'm sorry. It's kind of like a thing that honestly, you know, my wish is like my wish, and I don't get hurt noggins too much, so it's a little bit selfish. But like, just don't hit into any bars, and then we don't have to worry about it. You know, you know. Haha, no, that's like me. It's like me at this point. That's me one. I'm like, okay. Hurt noggins aside, freaking hitting into bars, it's kinda cool. It's not like I enjoy hitting into bars. It's just, it's like, you know, when it's in certain circumstances, it's like, okay. So this really happened. So this actually happened. And it did happen. It did happen in the real life. Not in the virtual world, not in fantasy land. It happened in the real, you know? Not the fake, the real. And I was like, wow, whoa. This can't be. This cannot be. But it is B. Because it did happen. I hit my head. Well, when I went into a bar, and right when I went in, I was like, if I hit into a bar, what the crap is going on? But then next second I hit into the bar, and I was like, okay, facepalm, #facepalm. I hit into a bar, what next? And I was like, I gotta tell the story. Online, on my cassette tape, my cassette player, my cassette reel, my cassette recorder, my cassette microphone, and I gotta tell this story. I gotta tell the story to my friends, my little fellas, my little gremlins, my little hoodlums. I gotta tell it to them. I gotta tell it to those little guys to sit in the corner of my room. And I gotta tell it to those people, and I gotta tell it very concisely to them, or they'll get a little bit naughty. So, I got, and I was like, yo, guys, the bar, I hit into the bar, and they're like, what the crap? And I was like, yeah, that's right. And they were like, whoa, you know, and I was like, yeah. And technically, like, it isn't even like rare for this to happen, but everybody's reaction is like, whoa, that can't be. And I was like, okay. And I was like a little bit like enamored by the power of this story, you know. I was like, whoa, I have so much power by just telling people I hit into a bar, in a bar. Like, I'm friends with like 50 more people because of this story. I was like, what's up, stranger, in the street? The guy was homeless, and I was like, I hit into a bar, and I went into a bar, and I hit a bar, and it was like, ha, and I was like, yeah, I know. Then I gave him like $1, and that was like a friendship that I could never like not get. Wait, no, it's a friendship that I couldn't get without the story that I got from going inside of a bar and hitting into a bar. Like, that story kind of changed my life forever. Like my life isn't the same anymore because of that, but like in a good way. Like, it isn't like negative. Like, my life is kind of good, because, well, it's like better than it was. But my life was always generally alright until I hit into a bar, and I was like, okay, this is kind of balls because my noggin hurts. My noggin's a little bit stingy. And I was like, wait, I can tell this story to my friends, to my fellas. And then I was like, oh yeah, like #winning. And that's just how things go. That's just how things go in this world. I'm like, okay. So I got out of the bar, not the piece of steel, the freaking like the little house with drinks in it. And I was like, I gotta tell this story to my fellas, my gremlins, my hoodlums, the little hoodlums. I had to tell it to everybody, and the homeless man who was on the street, and the And the general consensus is like, that was freaking awesome. I love this story. And I'm like, thank you so much, but it wasn't me, it was the bar. It was the bar who did all the work, it wasn't me, and that's just how it works in this world. In this type of world, we just work off of funny little gags, funny little goofs, and that was just one of them. That was just one of my little goofs, my little gags that I made up. Well, I didn't really make it up, it just happened. I didn't make up this gag. As I said, this is not a virtual or fantasy world gag that happened. This happened in real life. This happened in my world, which is the real world. I own this world. I don't own this world, I don't think, actually. I think whatever God gave me that freaking awesome experience of hitting into a bar owns this world, and it's like, and I thank that God for giving me that opportunity, because if without that opportunity I would not be friends with that one man on the street with the dollar, and also my little hoodlums would not be very satisfied with that, because without it, because it's like really funny. They're like, okay, you're my best bud now, and I'm like, I can only have one best bud, but sure thing. And I was like, let me shake your little hand, your little baby hand. And they were like, oh yes. And I was like, I headed into that bar, by the way, hashtag winky face, and then they're like, yeah, you did. And that's just how it goes. That's just how it goes in this type of world, in this type of little fantasy. Is it? No, it isn't a fantasy world. Is this no? This is a real world, I think. And I headed into that bar, and I was like, okay. But then, I wasn't. But I was. If well, that's just a little bit like introspective thought, I guess. Like from the brain that I don't think it's really damaged from hitting into a bar, to be quite honest, because when you hit into bars, it's like oh, I hit into it, I'm not gonna keep moving, because like there's a bar in the way, and you can't move forward because there's a bar there, so you can't move forward. So that's why there isn't any damage. But like, if I had enough torque in my little shoes, my little leather clackers, then I'd probably be able to go forward, and then my brain would not be as good as it is now. So I think I thank myself for not wearing my little leather clackers that day, even if I really like listening to like tap dancing music every day. I really thank myself for not having those clackers on, because I think that'd give me enough torque to rip my head off when I went into that bar. So, as I'm not dead because of that. I wore my little my shoes that light up, because it was a bar that has drinks in it, so I had to be fancy, and that's like the fanciest thing I got, which is the light up shoes. I got them from the store. The store sells shoes. They had shoes inside of that store, and I was like, whoa, I was like, a whole entire store for shoes? That was like my voice when, and I was like saying to the cashier, I can't believe this. What the crap is with this shoe store? Wait, it's called a shoe store, not just a store. And I was like giggling a little bit, because like I never knew that there were stores for shoes out there, and I was like, okay, this can't be. And I did some further research, and I was like, okay, this is actually real. And I'm like, okay, what's the profit margins? And I looked up the profits, and it was like, that's alright, that's okay, but like, why not just go to Walmart that has shoes in it? But I think the general idea behind shoe stores is the freaking the exclusivity of like certain shoes. like Walmart doesn't have every shoe you want, but like a shoe store has my tiny leather clackers that I wanted, and I think that's the general idea behind that. Like other than that, there's really no point to a shoe store, because you could probably get them cheaper at a shoe store, unless Walmart Walmart might actually be cheaper. Walmart has cheap stuff in it, but it's also kind of, you know, I like the fact that it has my tiny leather crackers in that store, because I wouldn't really be able to crack with my shoes if I didn't wear those things. But I could, well, it just wouldn't be as awesome and epic if I didn't use those shoes, but whatever. It's whatever. It's not like it really matters too much, but also it does kind of matter, because I would have way too much torque if I wore those tiny leather crackers to that bar, and I might have died. I might have died if I went to the bar with the tiny leather crackers, but it's fine. It's fine because I didn't. We don't really need to talk about that too much, because it's not like I actually went to the store went to the bar with my tiny leather crackers. I went with my light up shoes that light up from the shoe store. Yeah, I got those from the shoe store, by the way. Let's just say all the hashtag ladies were hashtag looking at my hashtag shoes, okay? And I'm like, okay, this is too much attention. And then I freaking hit into a bar. As I was thinking, it'd be funny if I hit into a bar, and guess what? All the hashtag ladies were hashtag laughing, and I was like, I gotta hashtag laugh as well. And I just hashtag giggle. Like, ha ha ha. That's basically what I was like in that bar. Then I drink a soda, drank a couple sodas, I guess. Because I can't, because like the soda's yummy, and, you know, I'm allergic to anything else. No one can drink soda, because, like, it has carbon in it, and carbon is the opposite of oxygen, and oxygen I can't drink, because it's bad for my bones and stuff, and that's why I wear tiny leather crackers, because it sounds like bones, and then the ghosts of bones can't really discern whether or not it's crackers or bones, so they go for the crackers instead. So I could have died either way, honestly, if I think about it, but I could have always just like made a cracker sound with my light up shoes, and then they'd be like, okay, which one's bones? The light up shoes or your bones? It's kind of stupid to like ask, but they'd actually like ask that instead of their bone stealing brains, because they're kind of dumb, but like they only go based off the sound. It's like because like they don't have eyeballs, so like they just go for the one that sounds like bones, and then it just gets it goes away because of the bone stealers just steal it, you know. They just like steal the thing that sounds like bones, and then they're like, mighty feast we got here today, folks. And I'm like, yeah, you do have a feast of bones. Wink, wink, because they don't. They just have light up shoes or my crackers that sound a lot more like bones. Honestly, they probably have really good ears, so I'm not sure if the light up shoes would work. I don't think those would work against those type of people, because they really know what a bone is. But the tiny leather crackers are really good substitutes. Like 99% of the time they get that. But one of my little gremlins, they didn't really get past that, so, but whatever, it doesn't really matter anyway. So like, yeah, so like I went in, the bar, and I was like, okay, yeah, and then I was like, okay, and like, luckily there was no bone stealers. Now that I think about that, that was pretty scary. Yeah, I should really wear the tiny leather boots more, because like it's kind of dangerous otherwise. But like I don't have too many. No, I have a lot of bones. I don't know why it has more. How many bones do whales have? Well, I don't know how many bones whales have, because I need to look that up, because they might have more bones than me. And bone stealers, they have a lot bigger bones as well. I think a bone stealer would much prefer going for a whale. If I tell them that whales have huge bones, I think they'd go for them instead. Because like, my bones are pretty damn small in comparison to a whale's bones. So like, I tell them like giraffes have a very, very big bone, and they'd be like, oh, thank you, sir, and then they wouldn't attack me. because I'm like a reliable source of information. I'm like the brain of the bone stealing operation. I think that's the good plan. Instead of them stealing my tiny little crackers, I should just go into I should just like go to the HQ and say, "Hey sirs, whales have really big bones," and then they'd be like, "Oh yes." And that's just generally my idea now, for just in case any bone stealers like come over to me and be like, "Hello, bone man, got any bones?" And I'm like, "I know who does. It's whales. Whales have very big bones." That's just a little tidbit, and then he's like, "Yes, sir," and he's like saluting, because I'm revered in the bone stealing nation now, because I give them so much information about bones, and about the size of bones, and how many each animal has for bones, for like bones, you know. Thank you so much.